Gracie Carvalho is a Victoria's Secret model, a stunning and beautiful woman, and also maybe devastating because she is a Muay Thai fighter.
I like her already.
Lauren's on board. So we have a lot of elements to get through.
Just to cover our bases before people say, okay, perfect. Because people might say it's Carvalho, or it could be said that way, but I'm going based on the Portuguese soccer player Ricardo Carvalho, spent the exact same name. Gracie Carvalho will take it away.
Okay, thank you, Francis. We move forward because let's start with the Muay Thai interview.
What's the toughest workout to get ready for the show?
Toughest workout?
Yeah.
I mean, I go hard. I do Muay Thai.
Really?
Yeah, so I go all the way to Thailand sometimes to train with guys. So I think that is the hardest because sometimes I hurt myself.
Speaking of that training, so our Instagram is completely filled with a lot of sports-related activities, even soccer ball, Francis, which you like
Nice,
to play.
like already.
But also a lot of Muay Thai type training, not so much videos, but pictures, obviously, in the ring. So, this is one, it's any kind of boxing or combat sport workout is an amazing way to work out. It is exhausting,
Absolutely.
it's a full body workout, it drains you physically, it's one great way to stay in shape, especially when you're, I guess, I don't want to say competing in this sense of it, but when the model industry is probably one that is very competitive in terms of how you keep in shape.
Yes.
I now default to Lauren.
Well, the problem is, though, is like you can just even see by looking at her body type that, she's not exactly built like a fighter. I mean, she has long limbs, so she can, she definitely has good reach. But, I mean, we were talking just earlier about Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm. I mean, these girls, they're really cut and they're big girls, and I don't think that. A girl like Gracie, I don't want to like downplay her. I think that it's awesome that she's into this, and ultimately your skill, you just got to be able to back up what you're saying about yourself. But I don't see her being able to, hold a candle. I mean, look how thin she is. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just force equals mass times area. There's not enough mass there.
Yeah. Dropping science equations on TYT Sports. That's a first. That is definitely a first.
Yes.
Francis, can you do both?
Could I do math?
Not you. Can models turn into athletes?
Yes. No one can tell anyone that they can't do anything.
Absolutely.
That is the easiest answer, not just because it's safe, but it is true.
You're not trying to ruffle feathers today?
I know, no, I'm not going to ruffle feathers because just as Lauren said there, like you have to prove yourself. Anyone can. I could right now say that I wanted to start going and become a plumber. And I'd have to prove myself to be a plumber. Like, no one's going to tell me that I can't do that.
Think of all the amazing people who have been an athlete turned businessman or a businessman turned astronaut, or maybe that hasn't happened. But there's, basically something you stick your mind to if you have the skill set. I mean, multiple people have multiple different skill sets that they can draw upon, not just one thing in life that they're good at. And, so, I mean, it's definitely possible.
And you talked about this before when you talked about Holly Holm. Like, you use the skills that you're taught through the sport that you know best or the industry that you know best to take that in and try to accomplish great things in another industry. Look at The Rock. I know people will go out there and say that he's known mostly for his time in the WWF at that time, and I do agree with that. But he's still just turned his career into a phenomenal actor.
And he killed it, by the way. He's so charismatic and amazing. I love him watching
and he's turned it, and many people are doubting whether or not Ronda Rousey can take that transition and move over to be a movie star. Who's telling her that she can't? She has stood up to be one of the most iconic women in all of entertainment, because that's what sports is still as well as entertainment. So it's a little bit of an easier transition. People say that it's not easy to transition over. I think if you've got the skills necessary and you can act, then you can do it.
What has to be kept in mind, too, is that so much of it is Ronda Rousey wants to become an actress, and The Rock wanted to become a famous actor.
Yeah.
What about the other side of it when someone's offering you a 6- or 7-figure check to do it?
Yeah.
Like, and most people, you're gonna look and tell me that if that was on the other end, and yeah, there are some people that have such great morals out there that they'll do it for more than just the money. It's more important to them than that. But it's not so much.
Doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. It's a pretty big influencer in terms of, for some of these fighters, some of these people. And I'm not saying that she's gonna become a Muay Thai fighter, or if she's gonna stick to being a model. But if she wanted to, she could.
The thing that you have to mention is she's in a Victoria's Secret run show. I mean, you're in amongst superstars. Like, so you've got Kendall Jenner, who's in there now, who is going to be stood out from the crowd a little bit more so because of her background as a Kardashian.
But see, that's actually a brilliant point, is the fact that, like, a lot of times, if you can make it in one certain area, like if you can get credibility or if you can get that just notoriety and stardom, it makes it much easier to be able to excel in these other areas, especially when you're talking about other entertainment-related areas.
Well,
So
with the Ronda Rousey fad that everyone has, like Ronda Rousey, immediately, she's a very attractive lady. You ask a bunch of guys out there and they'll be open to say that she becomes more attractive because of how good she is at her sport and how iconic she is and how badass
scary.
she is.
I think some guys are intimidated by that.
Exactly, intimidated a little bit.
Honestly.
But the same thing about this Victoria's Secret model now becomes a little bit more desirable, I think, because she is into a sport that you wouldn't expect her to be into, but that doesn't take anything away from anyone else who's in that industry that doesn't do it. I just think it's the same effect that you have that Under Armour had when they recruited Giselle as a ambassador for their brand. It switches it because you bring in someone who's not expected to be considered an athlete, and then
but also
in
gives
comes
hope
all
to those
the-
other girls
Yes,
and to those other
exactly.
people who
And that's
admire
why.
Giselle and look up to her. I think the one thing that challenge that Gracie faces is that, you know, for a model, you not only have to keep, you know, yourself fit like you'd mentioned before, but it's a different type of fitness, first of all. And second of all, you know, this is a very contact sport. You get bruised, you get beaten, all these other things. I'm imagining the Victoria's Secret is not exactly wanting Gracie to be covered in black and blue bruises. So this is something that I'm sure that she has to think about because at the end of the day, this is her livelihood. And it's like, I think about that when I do extreme sports, whatever. I'm like, you know, I can't just be getting all cut up and gnarly and stuff like that. So I think that's something that she has to obviously pay attention to because if she gets too beaten up, she's not going to have a job.
Yeah, exactly. That's a
Unless
good
she's
point.
going to fully go into Muay Thai fighting.
Exactly, which,
Yeah,
you know.
and that is a good point to make. It's like I don't want to tell anyone that they can't pursue any sort of field that they don't want to pursue, but if one it directly influences the other and you want to continue to do both, that's where it become a problem. Same thing if you're telling Ronda Rousey that she wants to be UFC champion, but she wants to shoot 5 or 6 movies next year. I don't think that's going to be able to happen with her time schedule because she needs to put so much time onto rebuilding because she's just been knocked off a pedestal. She has to focus on training. So as long as one doesn't directly influence the other at times, you do whatever you want.
Well, that's the thing is when you're working at that level of competition, there are so many people that are so talented and right there with you that you have to be able to focus on what it is. It's hard to be able to split your time and your energy and your efforts to 2 different things because somebody else is focusing just on that one thing. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but it definitely makes it considerably harder because there's only so much time in a day.
Yeah, so Jason, just what do you want to do? Like, I know you enjoy your job here, but what really, do you want to pursue your career as a ventriloquist?
Well, I'm getting
I've heard about this.
I'm getting much better at it, and I'm trying to do the voices much better, but I can't. It's tough. Ventriloquists is the dummies, right?
Yes.
Making sure that it's the Jeff
It's your
Dunham.
career, you must know.
He's like, I just want to make sure I know what the joke is.
Right, I want to make sure I'm fully
I'm
understanding
Oh,
this.
it's very serious.
He's very good at it.
I look up to guys like Jeff Dunham,
Yeah, good job.
and that's the only one I know.
It's more than I know, so.
Yeah, but
So comment below in regards to Gracie Carl Francis.
I'm going to say still Carvalho.
Thank you.
Because that's what I know.
If we're wrong, we're sorry.
Well, no.
Or bad. But comment below what you think about her not becoming a Muay Thai fighter, but the Muay Thai training, and if she wanted to, the crossovers in Victoria's Secret.
Could she do it?
Could she do it? Thanks, Lauren.
Follow
Follow Lauren at Official Mayhew on Instagram, at LC Mayhew on Twitter, at Francis_Maxwell on Twitter, and at JasonRubin91. As always, like, favorite, subscribe. We'll see you next time.